Greetings, spirit beings, greetings, supreme being. We are all the human race. Our common enemy is death. Welcome on Perfect Society. I'm Ulrich Hoffman. And this is the broadcast live. NASA Freemasons, SpaceX Crew-2 launched to the International Space Station. Fake. So there may be four reasons manned space travel is impossible. Because of the vacuum, the space debris, extreme temperatures -200 to +200 Celsius, and the two Van Allen belts. And lots of people think this is fake.
Copy 1 Alpha.
Endeavour launches once again. 4 astronauts from 3 countries on Crew-2, now making their way to the one and only International Space Station. The vehicle is pitching downrange. 9 Merlin engines on the first stage providing 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Hearing good calls on first stage performance so far.
We are T plus 30 seconds into the second rotational crew mission on board Dragon and Falcon 9. Falcon 9 will be throttling down the 9 Merlin engines shortly here in preparation for maximum dynamic pressure. And there's that call out for the throttle down. Maximum dynamic pressure, or max Q, is the largest structural load that the vehicle sees throughout ascent. So throttling down does help us pass. Throttling down helps us pass through this period, which should be coming here shortly.
Max Q.
There's that call out that we have just passed through max Q.
Stage 1, throttle up.
And we can
Bravo.
Copy 1 Bravo.
So basically, the satellites are real. We can observe them from Earth. Earth is spherical. And the NASA Freemasons fake the Apollo moon landings. And what was the other thing about the temperatures on Mars? Nothing is what it seems, trust no one. How often have I said to you that when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth? Sherlock Holmes.
The engine chill for the second stage single Merlin engine has started. About 30 more seconds of the first stage firing to bring our 4 astronauts into orbit.
Now from here coming up in about 20 some seconds,
I'm checking it now.
Shut down 9 Merlin engines. We're beginning to throttle them down. We will then get stage 7.
Sarah Smith wrote, West Coast high-tech, beware Elon Musk can soon switch off platforms globally via SpaceX Starlink that don't comply with the company's policies to protect the internet on Earth and Mars. Disclose.
Copy 2 Alpha.
They cannot get the temperature on Mars up with nukes because of its position in the solar system.
And we have ignition of the second stage. You see the green flash of that T-TEB fluid. The expansion nozzle on the second stage Merlin vacuum glowing that bright red that we like to see. Good performance on the second stage so far.
And on the left side of your
So the rocket may be real, but the crew may be somewhere else.
streaming past the first stage is
On average, the temperature on Mars is about -60 degrees Celsius. In winter near the poles, temperatures can get down to -195 degrees Fahrenheit, -125 Celsius. Space.com.
it'll reach a peak height and then begin to descend back down toward the Earth's atmosphere, where it will light 3 engines.
Differing in situ values have been reported for the average temperature on Mars, with a common value being -63 Celsius, 210 Kelvin, -81 Fahrenheit. Wiki.
Copy, nominal trajectory. And we hear a call out from the crew, nominal trajectory. So we're beginning to move the first stage into position so it can do the entry burn.
So one of my theories about this is, well, basically I'm not even 100% certain, but it does look very fake, that engine glowing.
Check-ins on the vehicle's trajectory and performance, as well as check-ins with some of the ground stations.
Perhaps you can listen a bit more to what they're saying.
The 6 minutes of the second stage firing.
Dragon SpaceX trajectory nominal.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
Getting good views of both the first and second stage from the onboard cameras.
Acquisition of signal, boss.
The New Hampshire tracking station has acquired the second stage telemetry signal. Meanwhile, the first stage has reached apogee and it's now beginning to descend from a height. It's currently about 167 kilometers up. And in a few minutes, we will get the entry burn of the second stage, of the first stage.
So what are they gonna do? Connect the cryo cooler? This is no joke. We gotta control these vectors that control aging.
Dragon
Otherwise,
SpaceX
aging
trajectory
controls
nominal.
us.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
Right on cue, those check-ins on the second stage performance. Once a minute, everything's looking good on that second stage.
Propulsion is nominal.
So there we saw the cocaine floating in space. The whole spaceship is floating in space and it's filled to the brim with cocaine. Joke.
24 miles.
And just about 1 minute from now, we will begin the entry burn of the...
So I have my doubts about manned space travel being real. I don't doubt satellites in space and that the Earth is spherical. And one of my theories about what this was that manned space travel may only be possible with these saucers. And you need artificial gravity. Let's unwear the mask. $10,000 miles per hour. Then the speed of sound is what? People can see this, of course, on several channels.
hitting the denser part of the Earth's atmosphere.
Well, one other reason people think SpaceX is fake as well is that we see these videos of people staring at a monitor of the supposed launch, basically. Why can't they just see the rocket taking off with their own eyes, you know? But it's very lucrative, no doubt. A way to drain the taxpayers to create a crisis big enough to impose their satanic Luciferian, totalitarian, communist New World Order. So population reduction is also done by scamming the people, draining the people financially by these NASA Freemasons, Jesuits, Bilderbergers, Committee of 300, Subversive Body of the Club of Rome, and Population Reduction NGOs. So it's the Falcon against the Dragon or something?
MVAC shutdown.
Dragon SpaceX launch escape system disarmed.
No doubt they have the connections with the communist, Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. And there was supposedly Yuri Gagarin, CCCP or whatever.
Done its job, delivering our 4 crew into orbit.
You hear the applause here in Hawthorne. We're waiting to get.
Previous was kind of hanging.
I love you. And the view from the onboard camera, we saw it just briefly. It looks like first stage on the drone ship. Getting views of the Dragon trunk. So the first stage is on the drone ship, successfully landed. And more importantly, second stage is in a nominal orbit with the Dragon spacecraft getting ready for some important events coming up, Gary.
That's right. About 2 more minutes, the Dragon and the second stage of the Falcon 9 will be in a coast phase. It'll take that long until the spacecraft separates from the Falcon 9. Of course, both now in a nominal orbit.
Falcon 9. Falcon 9.
The Earth as it passes by over the North Atlantic Ocean.
That looks so fake, you know. It's an overlay. People who've worked with Photoshop and Adobe, etc. The live video editing software may also think this is fake, clearly.
I'm looking for that 0G indicator. Can't seem to see it in this shot, but we have a minute to go until we have spacecraft separation. Dragon traveling at nearly 17,000 miles per hour at an altitude.
There it looked like the Earth was curved in the opposite direction on the previous shot. Like the Earth is concave instead of spherical.
Crew of Endeavour is in orbit right now. Less than 30 seconds until we have spacecraft separation. Ten seconds to spacecraft separation. We should hear words from the core here in Mission Control Hawthorne once we have successful separation.
Beam me up, Spotty.
Dragon separation control.
Dragon, SpaceX, Falcon 2 wishes you a great rest of your trip. Say hi to the crew of Dragon who's waiting from us and let them know your rocket is home safe. Thanks for flying our first flight-proven, crewed Falcon 9. See you airside, Crew-2.
So we see that sort of glitching at the corners. At the edge of the overlays. And I wonder if it's even a live picture of Earth that they're using as well.
From both inside the cabin, seeing the excitement of our 4-person crew inside Endeavour, and watching Endeavour drift away from the camera on the second stage as the Earth passes by on an orbital sunrise.
SpaceX Endeavour, week.
And Endeavour, you cut out a little bit there. If the question was if you're go to open visors, you are go to open visors at this time.
SpaceX Endeavour.
All right, 13.5 minutes past liftoff. The crew is in orbit, traveling at nearly 17,000 miles an hour.
Oh, it's SpaceX Endeavour, of course.
Well, Gary, I don't know about you, but that was a great countdown. Everything sounded great. Right on time,
Dragon,
actually a
SpaceX,
little
we
ahead
see
of
a
time.
nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts.
Got a good orbit out of Falcon 9, and first stage landed on the drone ship. And we're in the sunlight over the Atlantic Ocean with the Dragon spacecraft. All in all, a great day.
I keep the volume soft so that I can also talk. keep it. I can also turn it off. The background volume.
It was
So
great
this
to see
way,
our crew members get into orbit. They already performed successful checkouts of the 12 service section Dracos around Dragon. The next
this way I should be able to talk.
milestone will be the deployment of the nose
And there are
cone.
no
That'll
problems.
be about
I
a
hate it when it
5-minute
sounds so
process, but
fake
that'll expose the
when
forward bulkhead
people
Dracos and
are
prepare them
listening to sound via
for
the
checkout.
speakers. It's just
There's a
annoying.
phase burn. There's 5 major burns that are needed to get the Crew Dragon up to rendezvous
When
with
you
the
hear it through the
International Space
microphone,
Station over the next
like-
23 hours. And so
like
that
this.
first phase burn is coming up real soon in about 35 minutes, actually less than 35
My
minutes.
face. Dragon.
And Jesse, I don't know if you could see the 0G indicator, but I was told it's a penguin. I'm trying to look for it.
I'm looking for it too. Keep an eye out on that left-hand screen.
E2.
Meanwhile, the Dragon is configured for a nose cone deployment. We'll stand by for when that sequence starts. The nose cone itself opens just beyond 90 degrees, about 105 degrees, to expose the forward bulkhead Dracos. Those forward bulkhead Dracos, 4 of them at the very top of the Dragon, will do the bulk of the work when it comes to firing the Draco engines for minutes at a time to increase the Dragon's speed, altitude, and phasing to catch up with the International Space Station again over the next 23 hours. Meanwhile, we're still getting camera views from the second stage, looking at that expansion nozzle. Did its work beautifully to deliver the 4 crew into orbit. Dragon over the North Atlantic Ocean.
And Gary, this is John. I think I heard a call out on one of the Dragon nets that the first set of nose cone hooks is open. So it sounds like that sequence is going well.
Very good. Well, from here in Hawthorne, it was very exciting to see the Falcon 9 lift off and deliver our 4-person crew into orbit. We're going to be with you throughout the entire phase, the rendezvous phase, until Dragon and this 4-person crew docks with the International Space Station. That'll be over the next 23 hours. We'll bring you through some of those major burns that are happening. But I am so jealous of Marie and the group over there over at the Kennedy Space Center. You actually got to see the launch and probably feel it as well. Marie, what was that like?
Oh, it was just spectacular, and you know the sun hasn't come up yet here in Florida, but you know, we were able to just turn around and see the launch right behind us, and it lit up the sky, just absolutely breathtaking.
It was so astounding to see the colors. I mean, it was not just your usual fireball, but there was the pulsating towards the end. And Kate, you're much more eloquent describing that sequence, which I appreciate you doing that while we were
happy to help.
staring. It was so fun, and knowing that those guys were enjoying the ride along with the sights that we got to see made all the difference. There's nothing more relieving than crew in orbit.
Yeah. And of course, we were so lucky to have clear weather here, being able to see the re-entry burn as well. I was hoping we were going to be able to catch landing burn, but unfortunately clouds on the horizon did block that view. But it was also such a treat to be able to see the re-entry of that first stage as well.
Miss
Let's
NASA
go over
has spoken.
to Jasmine to get some reaction. I think she's with the NASA administrator now. Jasmine?
Thanks. Thank you, Marie. Yes, I am joined again here with Steve Jerzik. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So we just had the privilege of watching that spectacular launch in person. What was that like?
Watching a launch.
But it would be really funny if he'd go, like, we all got some of it, adrenochrome.
Cut off and separation and get that second stage started. And of course, pre-dawn launches are always amazing. And, you know, we could see the vehicle pretty much through the entire trajectory up to Earth orbit. It was just spectacular.
Right. No, absolutely. It was just stunning, and the sun is just now starting to peek over the clouds here. So do you have any final words of encouragement for our NASA team, our SpaceX team, and our international partners?
Yeah, partnerships are key to what we do, particularly.
So I think it's totally fake, and people are so easy to dupe. And it's so easy to see if people do some research. It's incredible.
In human spaceflight, launching astronauts from American soil on American rockets. So our partnership with SpaceX and our commercial partners, other commercial partners, is critical, and our international partners. We could not do this without them. Very international mission with 2 U.S. astronauts, and one from ESA and one from JAXA. And obviously the ISS is the largest engineering international collaboration in the history of humankind, and it continues to amaze me how well we work together in doing all the research and technology on ISS. And I'm just so grateful for the NASA SpaceX team for their hard work and getting this 3rd launch off, the Crew-2 launch, and looking forward to docking and hatch opening and the welcome ceremony, and also looking forward to Crew-1 return next Thursday on the 28th.
Right. A lot of action still going on at the station right now. So as you mentioned, the next big milestone for Crew-2 will be docking at the station. So where are you going to be for that action?
I'm actually going to stay here at Kennedy Space Center and follow the free flight up to docking, and then I'm going to participate in the welcoming ceremony with my counterparts from ESA, the Director General of ESA, and the President of JAXA, and welcome the Crew-2 astronauts to the ISS.
Fantastic. Kennedy is the place to be right now then, I guess. Do you have any final remarks that you want to share with us today?
Hey, I'm just so proud of the team. I'm so proud of what this team has been able to accomplish over the past year, particularly. It's been especially challenging, global pandemic and other challenges, and just the focus of the team to get these 3 Crew launches off, as well as launch Perseverance, land Perseverance, first powered flight, controlled powered flight of a vehicle on another planet, first time generating oxygen from the atmosphere of Mars, and really looking forward to the core stage for SLS getting here and us moving forward to the first uncrewed test flight, Artemis 1 of SLS and Orion. So accomplished an incredible amount in this last year, and much more to accomplish in the year to come.
Absolutely. We've got a bright future right here at NASA. Thank you so much, NASA Administrator Steve Jerzik, for joining us today. Now we're going to take it back to the KSC host desk.
Thanks, Jasmine. Shane, Megan, Thomas, and Aki are on course to arrive at the International Space Station around 5:10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. And we're going to stay on the air for continuous live coverage along their entire ride to station. Though our coverage here at Kennedy Space Center is concluding, we're going to turn it over to the teams in Hawthorne and Houston to take us through the next phases of the Crew-2 mission, all the way through hatch opening and a welcome ceremony for the crew.
And for those of you watching online on YouTube, take a look at the description below the video. There you'll find the new link for the Crew-2 rendezvous and coast phase. Live coverage will continue at that new location shortly. And if you're watching on NASA TV, you won't miss a thing, and coverage will continue.
That's right, and as you follow along, we invite you to tune into a post-launch news conference at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time right here on NASA TV, where NASA and SpaceX will take questions live. In addition to NASA TV, you can always follow along on Twitter at @NASA, @SpaceX, and nasa.gov for mission updates. Huge thanks to all of our guests for joining us today, and thank all of you for getting up early on the East Coast and watching. Now here are highlights from the journey to orbit off the Earth for the Earth.
We can see the astronauts are now working with SpaceX suit technicians and the closeout team. And that's our commander, Shane Kimbrough.
There's Megan MacArthur getting helped into her gloves in her spacesuit. And mission specialist Thomas Pesquet will be making his 2nd trip to space. But that's Aki Hoshide having a laugh with some of the suit technicians. Shane Kimbrough, pilot Megan MacArthur in the front, Megan blowing kisses, Thomas and Aki ready for their ride to the space station. And here they come, the Crew-2 astronauts taking their first steps outside before their journey to space.
I love this moment. They're now going to have the opportunity to wave goodbye from a safe distance. And it looks like Bob Behnken is there and with the son of he and Megan MacArthur.
ONC departure on schedule.
All right, so we just heard that announcement that the crew has departed the operations and checkout building on schedule. And we can see the astronauts inside the crew access arm. Commander Shane Kimbrough, here he is climbing inside Crew Dragon Endeavour. We call this process ingress.
We now see suit technicians will help the crew members get buckled in. As you can see, the side hatch has just been closed.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Mission and liftoff. Godspeed, Endeavour and Crew-2.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Endeavour launches once again. 4 astronauts from 3 countries on Crew-2, now making their way to the one and only International Space Station. The vehicle is pitching down range. 9 Merlin engines on the first stage providing 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Hearing good calls on first stage performance so far.
Plus 30 seconds into the second rotational crew mission on board Dragon and Falcon 9.
Reminded me of the Malcolm X quote. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent. And that's power, because they control the minds of the masses. Oh, it's already finished? So without the long intro, it's like a couple of minutes, the launch. So then I can check if there are some comments. No comments yet. Couple of playbacks. Let's see if there's a better space helmet thing for the snap camera program. No, this is probably the best one. So, Well, the more I look at it, the more fake I think it is. The more I think it's fake, basically. So perhaps you can let me know in the comments what you all think. And we can wonder to which extent we're all brainwashed people. Synthetic telepathy has been around since 1974. And let's just turn on my real face. Because it's not rendering properly. So I can check what more there is live. NASA. Everyday astronauts.
Nine.
Konijn. That's not really real thing either. Tech TV. Launch with reused Falcon. Alright. Well, I don't know if this is supposedly live.
SpaceX team is finishing up their go, no go polls. We're waiting for a few more people to give the electronic thumbs up so that then the SpaceX launch director can check that item off and then proceed into the remainder of the countdown, which will include propellant loading at T-minus 35 minutes.
Poll is complete and the team is ready for crew access arm retract, propellant loading, and launch.
And it looks like the crew access arm has already begun to retract away. Just a beautiful sight.
Stage 1 fuel load is complete.
Okay, right on time, and a great view of Dragon sitting on top of the Falcon 9 as we're continuing to load liquid oxygen onto both the first and second stages. The RP-1 kerosene fuel is now completely loaded on both Stage 1 and Stage 2. All continues to go well, just under 6 minutes to launch.
Go for launch, and at 37 seconds, the International Space Station flying over Kennedy Space Center.
All for one, Crew 1 for all.
Crew Dragon poised to go catch it. 20 seconds till liftoff.
T-minus 15 seconds. Falcon 9 is configured for flight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
How dare you! And resilience rises. Not even gravity contains humanity when we explore as one for all.
M1E propulsion is nominal.
That's the word we want to hear. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
As 30 seconds into this historic mission, flying crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9. Configured for on-orbit operations. The phase begins after separation of Dragon from Falcon 9 and ends with the completion of the final co-elliptic burn. Our initial orbit today is 190 by 210 kilometers, with those values representing the perigee and apogee of the orbit, or the lowest and highest points over Earth. That means that the orbit isn't a perfect circle, but more like a slight ellipse.
So over the next 23 hours,
So it's not live. And I think it's totally fake, so basically I don't waste time on it. I think there are other things that are more important to save the maximum number of human lives and create that perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally. Okay, so let's go back to the astronaut's picture. Well, I made some important points already. The reasons why I think manned space travel is impossible with the technology they pretend they're doing it with. And about ISS, I don't know. Some people think it's a hologram. Some people think there's a real station up there, which is possible. They may have built that with robots. And satellites are also real. But I've listed these 4 reasons manned space travel may be impossible. And my theory about this is that they perhaps need an artificial gravity field due to the vacuum, the tremendous vacuum in space that they cannot simulate on Earth, not even with these huge vacuum chambers. And the best evidence that proves that the Apollo moon landings are fake are the videos of astronauts, for example an astronaut throwing something, and we can hear that cable come down, supposedly on the Lunar Explorer module, and that's impossible if it's filmed in space because of the vacuum. But I made a top 10 of things that prove the NASA Apollo moon landings are fake. So, and they also work with SpaceX, of course, Elon Musk, with the 5G satellites that also operate within the V-band using 60 GHz cancer cell phone microwave radiation. So if there's any anthropogenic man-caused global warming, then it's due to space travel, the satellites irradiating the Earth, and the ionospheric heaters using terawatts, and not due to the things they pretend. But in reality there is no anthropogenic man-made or man-caused global warming. It does not exist. Solar activity drives the climate and the amount of CO2, and you need to look at centennial climate change. If you look at the period of 11 years, like Wiki, the CIA Vatican edited encyclopedia, then you can see that solar activity drives the climate and the amount of CO2. I did a separate video about it as well. So that all fits in with the gigantic population reduction agenda to reduce the global population to a more enslavable number. Okay, well, I'm glad I got this on time. Usually takes long to start up open broadcaster software. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. So I think this is it for this broadcast. Kiss for single ladies who would like one. Thank you all for watching, but my other videos on this channel are a lot more important. They have a disclaimer that people can fast forward through that if they've seen it already. And yeah, let me know what you think. Are there other things that prove that these manned liftoffs, these manned space travel videos are fake? Obviously they're just sitting in the studio and they work with overlays, CGI, computer graphics imaging, because it's very lucrative and it fits in with their population reduction agenda to reduce the global population to a more controllable, enslavable number, and impose their satanic Luciferian, totalitarian, dictatorial New World Order. More about that in my previous broadcast as well. So thank you all for watching. May peace be with you all. And see you next time on Perfect Society. I'm Ulrich Hoffmann, signing off from Earth. Over and out.